Hello again, Card Media. It's RJ back with another video. It's Saturday, so it's Trivia Recap Day. For those who may be new to my channel or don't follow it regularly, I typically post videos on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I try my best on those days to ask trivia questions. The first person to email me will win the prize, usually a baseball card or cards or a baseball themed item. So somebody once suggested I do a recap video to tell everybody what the answers were because some people may not have known. Some people didn't bother to look it up, and it'd be nice to know the answer to my questions. So I thought that was a good idea. Took it upon myself last week to do a Saturday morning video where I gave out the answers, reminded everybody what the prize was, and highlighted the winners. So I'm going to do that again today. Going to go through each day, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So here we go. On Monday, the question was surrounding Hank Aaron. Here is my 1976 Topps Hank Aaron cards, part of my set. The question was, today, as we sit here today, does Hank Aaron still hold either the career home run record for batting average, home runs, or RBIs? Essentially the Triple Crown. Does Hank Aaron still today own any of those career records? Lisa Z gave me the correct answer. The correct answer is true. He does hold one of those records, and the record is for RBIs. Hank Aaron currently he retired with 2,297 RBIs, and that remains the top spot for career RBIs. Career batting average remains, of course, Ty Cobb, 366 career batting average, and Barry Bonds holds the career number of home runs, 762. Just so you know, Hank Aaron had 755 home runs when he retired, which was the career records until Bonds broke it, and he finished with a 305 batting average, so not too shabby a career for Hank Aaron, obviously. And Lisa Z got that answer right. So, on Wednesday, I asked another similar true or false question. Here is my 1976 Joe Torre card. I was doing a throwback to the prize for Hank Aaron was Lisa won a 2021 Topps Stadium Club master photo of Hank Aaron. So, Wednesday's question was about Joe Torre. This is my 1976 Topps Joe Torre card. I asked the question, Joe Torre is in the Hall of Fame as a manager, but he had a pretty great playing career before that. Was he ever a player manager? And it was true or false, and if false, that's all you needed to say, false. If true, for what team was he a player manager? And here he is in 76 with the Mets. In 77, they fired their manager and appointed Joe Torre as manager. Joe Torre, this is a 78 Topps manager card. He became the manager in 77. And for the first 18 days of his manager career, he kept himself on the active roster. So in other words, he was a player manager for the first 18 days of his managerial career. And in fact, during that span, he put himself into bat twice. Didn't do anything particularly notable, but he did it. And after those 18 days, he decided it was time for him to sit down and just be a manager. And he began a lengthy career as a manager, obviously. So he took himself off the active roster, and they pulled up another person on the roster and continued on. So the answer was true. In 1977, Joe Torre spent 18 days as a player manager. That prize that day were four pretty great player 74 Topps cards. Torre, Al Oliver, Dusty Baker, and Dick Allen. So four notable players from the era of the 70s. And Sticks G was able to nail that question. So, Friday. My Friday question, I showed off on Friday my Field of Dreams Topps Project 70 card that I recently acquired, which I love very much. I was a big fan of the movie and everything. So I said, somebody please name me the 8 members of the Chicago White Sox back in 1919 who were banned for life from baseball, which was a field of dreams kind of a thing, obviously. So, who were those 8 individuals? Well, let's take a look. This is from my 1989 Pacific 8 Men Out trading card. It's a card set highlighting the movie and has several cards in addition to movie cards showing the players involved or the primary individuals surrounding that event. And here are the 8 men. Buck Weaver. Now, Buck Weaver, of all people, I feel for this guy in a big way. If you know the story, Buck Weaver was one of the guys. He was you got to remember the White Sox back in 1919 were a fractured team. There were 2 sides. There were the there were the guys who were there to play because they loved the game of baseball. They were straight shooters. They got the teetotalers, not the rabble rousers. Eddie Collins, Ray Schalk, Red Faber. A lot of the rookies, obviously, because the rookies didn't belong. So Dickie Kerr was one of the teetotalers, I'll call them. And that group did not get along at all with the other side. And the other side were the cool kids, for lack of a better word, the rabble rousers, the drinkers, the guys who like to party and have fun. And Bucky was a member of that crew, the guys who like to party and have fun. I mean, he was a good guy and all that. He was a hell of a player, and he loved to play the game. But he hung with those guys. So when they started talking about throwing the series, Buck Weaver was in all the information. He knew about it. He didn't approve of it at all. He was not one who thought he thought so highly of baseball, he didn't want any part of it. Unfortunately, he knew about it. And that's why he got suspended, because he knew about it and didn't tell anybody. So I feel bad for him, because think about it. At the time this happened, there was no rule that said if you bet on baseball, you're going to get kicked out. So he just did what he thought was the right thing to do and kept his mouth shut. So Buck Weaver was one of the guys who got axed, and I feel the worst for him, believe it or not. So then there's Chick Gandal. Now, Chick Gandal was the ringleader, the main guy involved. Swede Risberg was the shortstop. He also was. These 2 guys were the guys who primarily put this in action. These 2 guys were heavily involved in it, obviously. And you got the 2 pitchers, Lefty Williams and Eddie Sicott. Lefty especially blew 3 games. Sicott was responsible he was the best pitcher on the team, and probably one of the best pitchers in baseball that year. One of the reasons that he was so willing to do it is because of the way Charlie Comiskey did him wrong, if you know your history. Basically, Eddie Collins had a deal with Charlie Comiskey that he'd get a $10,000 bonus if he won 30 games. So he had 29 games with like 4 weeks to go in the season, and they benched him the rest of the season so that he couldn't get that 30th game, and that Comiskey wouldn't have to pay him that money. So that gave him a huge incentive to stick it to the team, and that's one of the primary reasons he jumped and flipped and wanted to be part of it. So these 2 pitchers who pitched, it was a 9-game best of 9 series that year. Believe it or not, it wasn't a best of 7. From 1919 through 1921, the World Series was a best of 9 games. So the Sox actually went 5-3. They lost 5-3 in games to the Reds, and Eddie lost 2, but he won 1 because he got tired of, they weren't getting their money. The gamblers weren't paying everybody what they should have thought they were being paid. So Eddie won the 3rd game he pitched in, but Lefty Williams lost all 3 he pitched in. So these 2 guys lost the games that they lost. And you had the also-rans. These were the guys who were just kind of there. Happy Felch, there was an outfielder. Fred McMullen was a utility infielder. He really had nothing to do with the outcome of the series, but turns out he found out what was going on and demanded a cut or he'd squeal. So they had to cut him in. That's the only reason Fred McMullen was even involved. and Happy Felch. And then, of course, Joe Jackson, who was in on it, knew about it, but, you know, didn't do anything that anybody thought lended itself to throwing the World Series. If you look at his numbers and his actions, he did pretty damn good, including hitting the only World Series home run that year. So while Jackson definitely knew about it, probably took some money, it didn't look like he had affected his play any. So those are your 8 individuals who were a member of the, who were banned for life from baseball back in 1919. And Keith over at Celtic Pride 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 was the winner of that trivia question. And what he got were 8 rookie class insert cards from this year's Absolute Baseball. So that's my trivia recap today. I'm going to put a link in the description below to these 3 winners video channels. Take some time, check them out. I want to thank everybody again for watching my videos. Hope you're enjoying it. Hope you appreciate this little recap video. I'm going to start doing it. I think it allows me to just tell more history, which is my passion, is the history of the game. So I enjoy doing this. Please consider subscribing, commenting below, and all that jazz. Think about stopping by, check again, come back, visit often and all that. I hope to see you again soon. So take care.